Big news in the games this week, and of course the biggest one is Roblox is out and free on the Quest 2. This is still considered an open beta right now, which means it's free, but there's a lot of testing going on and plenty of issues coming up. One big issue that people are having even in just getting in is it's saying that it is not eligible for them to play. The reason for this is they are setting a hard limit of 13 plus, and if your account says that you're under 13 years of age, it's not going to let you onto it. A couple other bugs to expect and work around is buying Robux is having problems. They say functionality is coming. Password sign and account creation is not available on the Quest yet, so you do have to do that through your actual Roblox account website or of course on your phone. Some people are having issues with graphics being distorted. They're not seeing personalized recommendations. While everything is in beta and being tested, you can't up or downvote the map so that it doesn't affect their overall scores because they may not work in VR. And if you want to report any sort of toxic community members, you need to do that through the Roblox UI and not the Oculus button. This is a really big deal in the industry and probably going to make a huge dent in the current players of games like Rec Room, potentially even VR Chat and Gorilla Tag while Roblox is hot. For those of you out there looking for a good hand tracking experience to demo hand tracking to other people, there's a new free demo experience that's been dropped on the Quest Store called Move Fast. This is a quick, short exercise type experience that shows off the new updates to hand tracking that are making it faster and keeping up even more on the Quest 2. Not only that, it's a decently pretty experience to put people in, especially for their first time in VR. And as I found demoing VR to many people, it's always really impressive if you can put them in something where they just get to use their actual hands and not have to use controllers with it. Definitely a good one to add to the lineup for bringing people over and showing them VR. We get a lot of complaints that VR does not have enough great MMORPGs. If you've been following Ilysia for a while, this game is looking promising, and this weekend only it is in beta. You can head over to their Discord to get more details about this or check it out on Steam, but they're testing this out from the 28th through the 30th. This is a game that's been in development for a long time. It's been highly anticipated by a lot of people. Currently, the testing is happening on Steam, but this is supposed to come to Quest one day. Steam dropped a list of the 50 most played demos from the Next Fest this year, and the only VR game to make the list was a game called Davigo. If you haven't seen anything about Davigo yet, this asymmetric VR game has a really unique premise where a VR player goes up against little PC players who are trying to take them down with all kinds of different weapons. Davigo not only pits VR players against PC players, but will actually be coming to Quest natively when it launches. It's only in its third alpha right now, but this is definitely a game to keep an eye on if you're interested in this kind of competitive gameplay with VR versus non-VR players. Another game I've been having my eye on is Ziggy's Cosmic Adventures. This game has been anticipated for a while, but it has dropped its final teaser trailer, means we are finally in the last legs of waiting on this. This is not only a cockpit starship game, but you are also tasked with taking care of the ship actually around you. You're stuck with the task of taking care of all of the systems in the ship, including the weapons, life support, thrusters, and more, while also managing combat and your little buddy Ziggy in there with you. A game that looks as cute as it hopefully does exciting. I know sometimes these management games can get a little overwhelming, but I'm going to keep you posted on what's happening with this game as I find out, because I've been interested in this for a while. As the Barbie movie keeps taking the world by storm with all of the hype, Rec Room is looking to get in on that hype with some new Barbie outfits now available. These were made in partnership with Mattel and are being sold in the game Rec Room for anywhere from 1,000 to 6,000 in-game tokens. Rec Room, of course, being one of the biggest social online multiplayer games in VR. It'll be interesting to watch what happens right now with Rec Room, as it was always called the Roblox of VR, and now we're seeing Roblox actually enter into the VR scene. That said, if you're somehow really into this Barbie craze or you're really into Rec Room, this might be something that interests you. We've talked about T for God before on our free games lists, and no longer will it be free as it has finally launched. This game is truly unique in that it uses procedural generation to build a real world around you, but using only your play space movement to navigate this world. There is an optional stick movement now, but of course this game's most popular feature is that it has used your real space to move around and feels like it opens up your play space into a humongous world. If you didn't get to try this while it was free, the new game does have more features, but you are paying $20 for it now. Either way, I would say this is a game you definitely need to experience because of what it does in VR, and it's currently available on Quest, Oculus PC, and Steam as well. Since checking out Crossfire Sierra Squad at GDC, I've been following this one closely, and although Although it's also coming to Steam, PSVR 2 crowd is the one that's really been excited for this, as they don't have enough shooters. We finally have got a release date of August 29th and a price of surprisingly $30. With the intense graphical detail, I was expecting a higher price. This game, of course, utilizing all of the PSVR 2 hardware, including the adaptive triggers, the haptics, the foveated rendering to make those graphics look really good. This game does have a 13 campaign mission for single player, but it really shines when you get in the campaign missions cooperative, where you have another 50 squad campaign missions and a horde mode for up to 4 players. This game definitely is looking to be more of an arcade shooter and less of a realistic milsim, but it's really promising, and I'm surprised at the low price that it's got. Definitely means it might be valuable to watch for reviews and see if there's some reason the price is lower than it was expected to be. And much more highly anticipated in the PSVR 2 realm, the new shooter Firewall Ultra is getting a August release date finally. August 24th, it is now open for pre-orders, $40 for the standard edition and $60 for the deluxe edition. This of course is a follow-up to the hyper popular Firewall 0 Hour on the original PSVR that used the aim controller. In this new one, we of course don't have any sort of aim controller for the PSVR 2, so this is using independent hands with the PSVR 2 controller, more of a similar style to like Pavlov or Contractors, where you're grabbing the gun with 2 hands instead of having a realistic hand model of the gun in your hands. This of course is a PSVR 2 exclusive and has been anticipated for a long time now, as people thought this would actually come out closer to launch. What do you think? If you don't have a PSVR 2, does this game look good enough to get you to possibly think about getting one? I'd love to know in the comments. Although it launched late, Beat Saber has taken PSVR 2 by storm and continues to dominate its most downloaded charts. Not only in the US and Canada, but also in EU and Japan, Beat Saber is still the top downloaded game on PSVR 2. This brings up an interesting question I'd love to know from some of you out there. Beat Saber is an amazing VR game that only works in VR. It wouldn't work as a flat game, but why is this still one of the top VR games this many years later? Is this a good sign for VR that a game like Beat Saber can be this well known and this well liked, or is it maybe a bad sign that we haven't gotten other games that can somehow dethrone this thing all these years into it? A lot of news going on. We were finally back in town. We were gone on some traveling trips, so we had a lot to catch up on. But what else is going on out there? What games are you looking forward to and anticipating in the VR realm? I know Roblox dropped, and that was a big one a lot of people were waiting for. So now, are you fully excited and busy playing that, or are you wondering what's next? Let me know, but thank you again for coming out, and I will see you in another reality.